So, I like Batman. I have read the graphic novels, I have played the video games, and as you can tell, I own a good bit of Batman-related apparel, including 2 capes. My love of Batman started in the early 90s when I was a kid and would come home after school and watch a show called Batman the Animated Series, which is, yeah, legendary! The Batman the Animated Series was different than other cartoons for a couple reasons. One, the bad guys would all sort of be kind of violent, and they were like real mobsters. They had guns, and so they'd be like, yeah, see, which, like, compared to other early 90s cartoons like G.I. Joe, which was all lasers, you know, pew, pew, not nearly as cool. Second, Batman the Animated Series was pretty sexual. Like Catwoman and Poison Ivy were really curvy, and they had these really tight costumes on, and they actually made a new character for the show. Her name was Harley Quinn. Yeah, and she was Joker's sidekick, and she was this blonde with blue eyes and a really big toothy grin. And maybe it's just like, I don't know, coincidence, but my fiance now is a blonde with blue eyes and a really big toothy grin. My point is, when I was a kid, Harley Quinn gave me feelings that were like, oh, you're a boy. Which was like, you know, like a first for me. But the most important thing about Batman the Animated Series was it was all drawn on black paper. So the whole show had this sort of brooding feel, and Batman as a character was like this dark shadow of a man, and it was awesome. So when Christopher Nolan took over the Batman movie franchise and made Batman Begins, and Batman was like a dark shadow of a man, I was like, yeah, this is my kind of movie. I like this guy. So when they announced the second movie, The Dark Knight, I was super excited. And then they released those photos of Heath Ledger as the Joker, and he looked all like scary and shit. And I was like, ah, yeah, this is gonna be great. So for the months leading up to the movie, my roommate and I, while we were living in Atlanta, were like counting down the days for this movie to come out. And we're doing this whole online marketing campaign where people like played along and made phone calls to Commissioner Gordon, who would leave you messages and send you emails, and you'd have like security. Point being, we were nerding out hard on this fucking movie, okay? And this was a big Hollywood movie that a lot of people were going to see, but if you wanted the real superfan experience, you went to the midnight premiere. So we got tickets the night that the day that those became available. And of course, when we showed up, a Thursday night at midnight, the entire parking lot was full of nerds, and like not nerds like Big Brain Theory nerds, like the nerds that spend their days like saying mean things on the internet. Like, these are my people. Okay, it's just like, yeah. And they're all dressed as like guys from the animated series. It's like, oh, there's a Joker, and oh, there's a Two-Face. Yeah, we're cool. Again, lots of Batman-related apparel in the parking lot. And as we go inside, there's guys lined up, and they're all talking about things that they know essentially Batman the way you probably know your significant other. They're like, yeah, I think Nolan is really like channeling the style of Miller, but plot-wise, it's much more like Long Halloween. And we're like, oh yeah, totally. We go into the theater and it is packed full of dudes like this. And the first thing that comes on is the trailer for The Watchmen, which we didn't know sucked yet, but at the moment when the trailer came on, people were just like, oh shit, and clapping for a trailer. The movie starts and everyone was on the edge of their seats for every single moment of amazing action. And of course, the Joker does that scene where he like runs his mouth at a bunch of gangsters and impales a guy on a pencil, and people do a standing ovation in the middle of a movie, because that's all these Batman dorks like me just like, oh my god, he got it right! So there's that scene where it's like the crazy assassination thing, and then the judge the mayor gets shot, and chaos ensues, and everyone's like, oh my god, Batman, or Gotham's tearing itself apart! And then the movie just kind of goes to black real quick, and then cuts to Batman and Joker in an interrogation scene. And I hear all these murmurs from behind me, and people are like making loud noises because they're slapping on the screen that sort of divides the projector from the rest of the audience. People are flipping out, and I turn and look at my roommate who's with me, and he's like, something's wrong. And I'm like, what? He's like, I read some spoilers, and this is not what's supposed to happen right now. And I'm like, okay. They're gonna figure this out. This is Batman. They're not gonna screw this up for me. I need to pee. I've had to pee since like the Watchmen trailer. So this will be a good intermission. I'll just step out while they figure this out. So I run outside to the bathroom. I pee, and as I'm coming out, the theater next door to us, people are leaving. And they're handing people gift certificates. And I'm like, no. I've been waiting weeks for it. I've been waiting years for this. I've been waiting my whole life just to get a Batman movie like this. And I walk in to my roommate and I sit down next to him. I'm like, I think there's something wrong. They're letting people out of the other theater. He's like, don't say that too loud. Maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe don't let people. And of course the theater employees walk in and they announce, now I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, so they're like, y'all ain't gonna see the movie tonight. There's a problem with the file, but we're giving you some gift certificates. It's at this point that what has been like an ad hoc comic book convention turns into a scene from Burning Mississippi. It's just this like angry mob of nerds, and they start trying to give people gift certificates, and these guys are yelling from the back like, "We don't want your gift certificates!" And I'm like, who would not take a free movie? But some men just want to watch the world burn, okay? And they're just storming out because. So my roommate and I, we take our free gift certificates and we sulk out to the car, and we are driving home. It's 2 in the morning on a Thursday night. And I've got work the next morning, and we know that this movie has sold out like all weekend around Atlanta. So we might not get to see this movie if we don't see it tonight. As they say, the night is darkest before the dawn. We get back to my apartment, and my roommate goes on the computer and he says, there is a 4 a.m. showing. And I say, I am fucking in. Because this is Batman. So we both take quick naps, wake up at like 3-ish, get back in the car, drive to a sketchy part of town where we get out of the car, and there's not like a line of nerds dressed in cosplay out the door. No, it's just us and a couple strippers who are dressed like strippers who just got off of work because it's 4 a.m. And as we go into the theater, there's not like a whole audience full of guys who are excited to see this movie they've been waiting for. No, there is one gentleman who is sitting in the middle of the theater holding a baby, which is weird. So my roommate and I sit down, and as the great scenes we've already seen play out, and like the trailers go, and all this amazing stuff happen, there's no standing ovations, there's no excitement of a bunch of nerds. It's just he and I sitting there enjoying some goddamn great Batman action. And I loved it, but not because it was the movie screening that I deserved, but it was the movie screening I needed right then. Because I love Batman. Thanks.